The WSU Extension Master Gardener Program empowers and sustains diverse communities with relevant, unbiased, research-based horticulture and environmental stewardship education to address 9 important concerns facing Washington residents.
As homeowners, we all have an important role to play in the conservation and proper use of water. That became clear to me when I went through Master Gardener training. Everybody had a part to play in clean water management in so many different ways, in limiting pesticides, allowing some sorts of weeds, making sure that we didn't cause runoff into our lands. So the overuse of pesticides is a major problem. Dr. Alex Kowalewski from Oregon State University, their turf management specialist, focused on the use of growing turf, allowing some weeds to survive, and developing turf that required fewer resources. Since we live right on the border of a riparian wetland and habitat area, the area between our lawn and that creek back there is very important. We need to adopt practices that will not only protect it, but maybe enhance the functioning wetland that's out there. Every soil has a limit to how much it can grab and hold on to at any one time, and that's about 1/4 of an inch at a time. If you exceed the infiltration rate, water is subject to runoff or leaching straight down through the root zone and into the soil. Root development really had little to do with watering and irrigation. It really has to do with the height of the grass itself. So the only way to get deeper roots is to have taller grass. In other words, mow higher. So the bottom line of what I learned about irrigation was that I should be watering often enough to supply about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of water per week at about no more than 1/4 of an inch at a time. So I'm actually watering fairly shallowly and more often in order to keep the water right there in the root zone and not running off into the wetland. In particular, I'm willing to tolerate things like clover and some wild grasses that would be considered weeds. On the other hand, in our habitat area, we had a noxious weed growing, several. We had thistles, blackberries, and creeping buttercup. They tend to dominate and prevent biodiversity. So our native plants were being choked out. So the only one we really had to use pesticides was the creeping buttercup. We found that we could use a light annual application of the pesticide and take our time in dealing with the problem rather than trying to knock it all out at once. And therefore we prevented any damage to the wetland. For a while, we were seeing a decrease in pollinators around here. Especially bumblebees. That's what first caught my attention. So I talked to my neighbors and they all were concerned. And so they realized that we were using some pesticides that we maybe didn't need to and save our bumblebees. So over the last couple of years, they're back. And we think these practices are really working for us. And we get the reward from them every time we go out into our backyard, a front yard. It's great just to sit out here in the evening and listen to the birds and listen to the animals. It's very rewarding to know that I'm playing some small part in preserving the wetland and their habitat, and on a greater scale, preserving clean water for the whole state of Washington.